than half, 54% of Americans between the ages 16 to 74 read below the equivalent of a 6th grade reading level. We rank 125th in the entire world for literacy. Donald Trump has a plan to fix that. He has a plan to fix that. Here's his Secretary of Education getting tombstone pile drive. Are we stupid?
Trump is the new Adolf.
Welcome to the Chud Report. I'm your host, MJ. You end up liking this video, hit that upvote, subscribe, join the community, and let's get into it. Our representative democracy. It's a republic. It's a republic. We're not a democracy. It's called a republic, not a democracy. Again, let's refer to that 54%. Our representative democracy, our republic, relies on citizens to elect representatives who make decisions and laws on their behalf. And I would argue the voting public, 54% out there, they take that responsibility pretty lightly. The truth is, you don't have to look very far in this Republican Party. Whether you're paying, Boobert to send you a cameo, or, early exhibit of man here, Marjorie Taylor Greene. MTG says pedos should face the death penalty after Jay-Z, Diddy, and Matt Gaetz are accused of raping a girl. Oh, wait, that last name's not in there. I wonder what's different than Matt Gaetz. And I wonder why she voted against releasing, this crusader here. After Jay-Z and Diddy, I've seen enough. Death penalty. No, I won't be releasing the Gaetz report that shows him paying an underage girl to have sex. Pervert Pete here, whose mom wrote him a 4-page novel. Imploring him, begging him to stop abusing women. Pervert Pete, who roofied married women at hotel pools, then took them up to his room to rape them. What was that thing MTG said? The death penalty. Oh, so she'll probably be super tough on this guy, right? Pervert Pete went all the way to the Natural History Museum, Georgia, to meet with her. What does she have to say? We gotta put them all to death. President Trump made a great choice in selecting Pete for SEFDEF. He's a true patriot, and I urge every one of my colleagues in the Senate to confirm him, right? You thought she was going to be super tough on him? Not with those tattoos. After Greene gets done looking at Linda McMahon's past, no more pedos. After she gets done with that, she's going to do her homework on it, because that's what North Georgia does. That's why they get together every 2 years in North Georgia. And they say, yeah, let's put Encino Man back in there. Let's put Encino Man back in there because she's perfectly representing us. I imagine when Marjorie finds out about that, she's gonna do what Stephanie McMahon did here to Linda.
Conniving.
Whoa. What? Conniving B-word. Oh! Right? Right. So, to get into why, early exhibit of man will be appalled by Linda McMahon. When I was a boy, I thought Shawn Michaels giving this kick right here. This kick right here to this young girl was the worst thing that ever happened to a woman in WWE. How wrong was I? The woman who will finish off what Ronald Reagan started and throw, your kid's education, the future generation's education, what's left of it, off the Hell in a Cell. The death penalty, right? That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. Your head of education spent 30 to 40 years facilitating the trafficking of girls with her husband, Vince McMahon. No chance. That's what you got. The two of them fed wrestlers girls, trafficked girls. They fed them to these wrestlers like they were Percocets and steroids. Vince and Linda would force these women to have sex with wrestlers, right? And even sometimes Vince would join in. I mean, you guys probably all know the story here. But the head of education, Trump's new head of education's husband, took a literal dump, a poop, on the head of a trafficked girl during a threesome with another wrestler. You know what I mean? The metaphors aren't even metaphors anymore. We're not a republic. We're a democracy. We're a democracy. What a direct democracy. Citizens vote directly on laws and policies. Now, here's the thing we had in common with the founders. Because back then, I'm sure 54% of the people couldn't read at a 6th grade level either. The founders knew the majority of the people are complete morons. And I'm not being flippant out here. I'm not just throwing names around. 54%. Do you know what a 6th grade reading level looks like? Probably not. Probably not if you're a chud. A 6th grade reading level typically aligns with texts that are clear, straightforward, and suitable for readers aged 11 to 12. I mean, 54% of Americans can't read above an 11 to 12-year-old. And maybe that's what's in that Matt Gaetz report that they don't want us to see. Maybe Matt Gaetz was just dating people at his basis reading level to try to understand what they want. Maybe it was all one big misunderstanding. And with that cutoff at 6th grade, if you're like me, I mean, at this point, if you're lucky enough to have a civics class before you reach college, my civics class was taught in 7th grade. And it was taught by the gym teacher, My civics teacher was 10 times better at coaching boys basketball than he was teaching civics. And he sucked at coaching boys basketball. Like 0 and 20 for the season. I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, I throw around that people are stupid all the time. I'm backed up. So I put a short out last week. You might have saw it. It was just basically the opening of what I did here with Linda McMahon. And this guy, Mike McQuarrie, 4113, I guess that name was taken 4,112 times before he needed it. So the Democrats have had control of the Department of Education for 12 years of the last 16 years. 20 of the last 32. Blaming the GOP for the current educational issues is silly. It's silly. Well, Mikey, you're what I'm talking about, You didn't get your 7th grade civics class, or you did and you didn't understand it. The Democrats in the last 30 years, since Ronald Reagan, they've controlled the House 6 years. Since Ronald Reagan, right? 1993 to 95, that's Bill Clinton. Okay, they could get some stuff done there. 2009 to 2011, Obama literally used all the capital to pass Obamacare. That's where that one went. 2021 to 23, they had a slim majority, and Manchin and Sinema held everything up. So you would know if you knew civics that the purse strings are controlled by Congress. The funding for education is controlled by Congress. We're a republic, not a democracy. You ever wonder why morons repeat that more than the other ones, right? They either say I identify as an attack chopper, or they say, we're a republic, we're not a democracy. Who do I blame? I blame 6th grade reading levels and gym teachers. That's what got us here. In a republic, also called a representative democracy, crazy, right? Citizens elect representatives who make decisions and laws on their behalf. When I was 14 years old, I was already above the national reading average. That's not funny, actually. I shouldn't be laughing at that. When I was 14 years old, as a joke, my grandma said, what do you want for your 14th birthday? And I said, I want a subscription of Playboy. As a joke. I was a funny kid. But she was an even funnier grandma. So what'd she do? She would have got me a subscription to Playboy when I was 14. In fact, she kept renewing it until I was 25. Now, here's the thing about Playboy magazine. Even back then, there was even worse magazines if you wanted to see stuff, right? Like Hustler and everything. But the thing about Playboy magazine in the late 90s is it had some incredible journalists, incredible authors writing essays inside of it. And I'm not trying to tap into that boomer joke of I read Playboy for the articles, but I really did as a kid, I was exposed to Hunter S. Thompson, Robert Coover, even in college. I read this thing about Walmart. I had no idea that Walmart was this evil until I read this in 2003 when I was in college. I was taking this poli-sci class. I think it was called Regime Change. The teacher was like an old hippie. So basically the whole class he had a list of 20 things that we had to do. We could pick off them, whatever. And one of them was go protest somewhere. So I used protesting. I took that article in Playboy and we all went and we protested Walmart, my class. In order to get the grade, I had to protest for 1 hour. That's what I did. I protested for 1 hour. And then I started walking into Walmart. And my teacher was like, "What are you doing? Why? What?" And I was like, I'm a poor college kid, man. I got to pick some stuff up. Walmart's cheap. I'm sorry. Don't blame me. Blame the system. Now give me my A. But I digress. Reading Playboy led me to a New York Times subscription. Feels like it was better back in the old days. Maybe not. I don't know. And, that led me to Michael Parenti, Chomsky, Sam Harris. I realized most of these guys I just named have fallen out of fashion with the left. They're not as popular. They don't like him anymore, especially Sam Harris. But back then, it was a good way of expanding my knowledge, kind of building a foundation, that I could then ingest daily news from. My point is not that people should read this much about news, this much about politics in a day. That's not what I'm trying to say. I realize, some people don't like doing that. That's fine. They're not like us, right? But, 54% of this country, they are literally illiterate. And yes, you shouldn't read about politics as much as me. But part of the contract we have here in this country, this is part of the problem. I think also. Can I tell you what part of the problem is? Is that why you tuned in? This is part of the problem. People don't really read about history anymore, right? Maybe they watch a couple films on it, and they're like, oh, that's what happened. But they don't really know that this democracy we have, it's called a republic. This republic we have, it's very finite. It will have an expiration date. We know this because every democracy, it's called a republic, before us has had an end date. But part of this contract we have, living in this republic, right? Part of this contract is to keep yourself educated, at least at the bare minimum. A quote from Lin-Manuel Miranda: "An educated citizenry is a vital requisite for our survival as a free people." And, Miranda might have took that from this guy. The real feat the Republican Party, the oligarch party, has done is siloing off swaths of these 54%, right? And they're placing them in spaces where the actual news, the actual facts, the actual source material has been decapitated. And instead, it is replaced with just spoon-fed articles, not even articles, memes. After all, what a 6th grade reading level could understand? Picture books, memes, libs of TikTok retweeted by Elon Musk. They're mocking you. They're mocking you because you are dumb. We're not a democracy, so we can have a dictator. Picture books, memes filtered through algorithms that distributed straight to you as propaganda. During the early aughts, Gateway Pundit, Breitbart, they seized this opportunity. And even on the other side, Huffington Post, they seized this opportunity of not having to go back to the facts, to actual reporting, to accountability, right? It was later realized in fully produced televised propaganda. I mean, we have unabashed propaganda now. It's not even hiding under Fox News, Newsmax, and OAN. And if you come to the end of that road and get to Twitter, it's called X. If you go to Twitter, it's a completely alone silo. It is a place for nothing but pure propaganda now.
Let me just help you understand. If you're on the American left tonight, here's my chart. The good guys today, Daniel Penny.
This is how
the
stupid
bad
they think you
guys,
are.
Luigi Mangione. It seems to me.
How do you
Everybody
see
on the
the
left,
chart
he
for
just
victims?
Writes down on a piece of paper and holds it up. Good guys, bad guys. I have no sympathy for insurance CEOs, healthcare, student loans, who prey on people. I have no sympathy for them. I also don't have sympathy for crazy people on trains. Like other people on YouTube, Ben Shapiro has to fill up an hour a day or whatever it is. So he took that guy's chart for the stupid people. Bad guys, good guys, right? And he made it into an hour-long segment. on what that CNN chud said in 5 seconds. An entire wine fest about how the crazy left is supporting Luigi. And then he tries to sell you a blender in the middle. He talks about exploiting a death and puts 3 ads in the middle. But there was a comment. There were a lot of comments on Ben Shapiro's. There's a lot of comments on all of them. You know, he had more downvotes than upvotes too. From this media portal. The media portal said, I just realized your entire business model requires that us normal folk hate each other. I'm glad you finally realized it, media portal. I'm going to help you out a little more, media portal. I'm going to make you realize some more stuff. It's not just Ben's entire business model. It's the business model of the entire silo he's in, right? It's the business model of the entire party he's in. And as they start to sell you on this kleptocracy, on this oligarchy, it's going to be the entire silo of the country you're in. The Chud Report. Thanks to the subscribers. Thanks to the members. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this channel.
We'll dig into it later. The Instagram posts from nutbag people, which I was sent in the commercial break earlier, crazy. Like, he's cute, and people celebrating this. This is a sickness. Honestly, it's so disappointing, but I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And up next, the other big news out of New York, Daniel Penny. A lot of people think he's a hero, and tonight he's not guilty. My take next.